Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Pep Talk, podcasting, getting started and maximizing your exposure. Greg is the managing attorney for the McIntyre Law Firm. McIntyre Elder Law is built on a client-centered and values-based foundation. Greg received his law degree from Campbell University. He serves as a member of the North Carolina State Consumer and Family Advisory Council as appointed by the Speaker of the North Carolina House of Representatives. So, Greg, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you very much. How are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. I can't wait to see what you have in store for us.
I can't wait either. No. Okay, so are you ready? Am I ready to take it?
Yes.
All right. So everyone that's with us right now, I want to get everyone involved, okay? That's my goal during this conference. We're going to talk about podcasting. Podcasting is a great way, I would say a new way, but it's not even that new anymore. We just need to do it. Podcasting is a great way. It's essentially radio over the internet, and you're able to talk to your audience, and it's preserved forever for your audience to learn anywhere around the world about what you do. It's a great platform from which you can shout out to the world what you do. So in preparation for that and to warm up, I'd ask anyone that's on the call, okay? And I don't want to hear crickets now. I want to get people involved, because if you're learning about a podcast, you're maybe thinking about doing something. I look like John Casey talking with my hands, but you're learning about it, and you're going to have to be a bit extroverted, and I think this is a learned skill, to be able to speak to the world and record what you say, okay? So I want to hear everybody at the count of three. I want you to unmute, okay? I want you to go ahead and unmute your microphones right now. Unmute it. And we're going to do this again a couple of times throughout the little webinar. Okay? Unmute your camera and your audio. I'm sorry, I guess you can't unmute a camera. Turn on your camera. That's fine with me too, if you want to turn on your camera. But I want you to say at the count of three, I'm going to podcast. Okay, that's what we're going to say. 1, 2, 3, I'm going to podcast. Yes, I hear other people talking. That's great. That's great. So just to get into it, thank you, Ashley, for the great introduction. I am an elder law attorney with Elder Counsel, love Elder Counsel, and I also love promoting what I'm interested in, what I do, which is elder law. I do that on a regular basis through a podcast called the Elder Law Report, which we have probably 64 episodes up there now, 63, 64. Been doing it for quite a while now, and I love doing it. Started out, I was much worse at it than I am today. So welcome to our webinar, and we're going to breeze through that. You've already heard a little bit about me. Our agenda. What is a podcast? So I started talking about that a little bit. Podcasts are simply little bitty radio shows or audio snippets. You can even do 30-second podcast if you wanted to. There's no scripted rules for this. Do a 30-second podcast on what is an executor. I do one called Every Ship Needs a Captain, Executors, and what they are. That was one of the first ones I remember I ever did. And what I did is I think I wrote an article first and then did it. And read the article or and started elaborating on the article. So it really doesn't take a little bit, but a few minutes to get together your subject matter. You already know, because you study this and you do it for a living all the time. You're all experts at it. You already know what you're talking about. You just have to grab a mic. You might want to grab a phone, an iPhone. This is the 6 Plus. This connects me to the world. You might want to get a more professional setup. You can get mics that look really cool, like radio mics that cost $20, okay, on the internet, and you plug in through the USB port on your computer. And you might want to videotape yourself while doing it and reuse the content in other ways. But just strictly speaking on content, that's what a podcast is. Now, podcasts can be listed on iTunes. So on my phone, I can literally go to my podcast, and I'm going to close all my windows here on my phone, and I'm going to show you the Elder Law Report. So I can go to podcast there, okay, which is the purple one. I can open that up, and it's going to show me, yes, 63 episodes of the Elder Law Report. And I uploaded a little logo there, and it says the Elder Law Report. And you can scroll through all 63 episodes of the podcast, okay? And you can also podcast through Stitcher. Stitcher, I can get in my car outside, and I can turn it to Stitcher and look it up right there and listen to it. I can really look at any, I mean, the world is now that, the world we live in, you know, I can look up any subject matter material I want to on a podcast. It takes me 2 seconds to get to it, either from my phone, through iTunes, or through Stitcher. And I think Google Play maybe has that as well. But the Elder Law Report is listed on all those nationwide. And I use, I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. Get frequent. That's how you get good. That's the second one. You need to get frequent with what you do. Podcasting's like anything else. How do you ride a bike? Well, you get on the bike, right? How do you learn to swim? You get in the water. So get on the bike, grab a mic, grab your phone, right? Grab an earpiece, a headset that plugs in, and record something about being a lawyer, about elder law, about why you practice elder law. Start your podcast and get your message out there. And what's neat, and we'll talk about that, is how many people are listening to it from even all around the world, okay? But the more you do it, it's like anything else. The more you get frequent, the better you're going to be at it, okay? So just to run down back on podcasts. Where do I post it? We talked about that. Also, let me clarify something also. When I post a podcast, I do it through something. I use Buzzsprout, buzzsprout.com. Buzzsprout allows you to upload a podcast. I mean, I think it's like $10 a month. And I think I expanded it because I upload so much content. It's maybe $20 a month. It's ridiculous. And it automatically publishes to iTunes and Stitcher and Google Play, other places for me, automatically. It also plugs into a website page on my website called Elder Law Radio, where it lists all the podcasts that I do for people to go to my site. I can put that out on social media, all those things. So just back to getting frequent. Does it have to be perfect? No, it doesn't have to be perfect. No, is what I said. You need to just get real. And people are going to appreciate that about you, okay? That you're in your PJs on the couch, I don't know, or you're after work after a long day and you're just, you know, here it is, okay? It doesn't matter, although they won't see you on the podcast. I do video cast all the time too. But it's just getting real and getting to know your audience, getting to know your client, putting the information out there. I had somebody tell me today at a seminar that I gave this morning in another county. They said, look, they said, you know, you just don't know what you don't know. And we had no idea that these dangers were out there for us, or that there were ways to protect our hard-earned money and property, because people don't know. People think they know, and there's street lawyers out there who are telling them the wrong things. So at least you're putting some good content out in the world. Good is better than great. You'll hear me say that all the time. In another podcast or another webinar we did for Elder Council, Omnipresence, which I would implore you to check out if you really want to talk about podcasting and other things that you can do to really get your practice out there for little to no money and reach your audience. Good is better than great. I mean, if you wait for your podcast to be perfect, it's not going to be there. You're not Casey Kasem. I'm not either. Maybe you are. I don't know. But that's great. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your voice sounds like. I think today, in today's very unscripted world of social media, that we're used to seeing a fake. We're used to seeing a polished fake, a very scripted podcast. You want something that's real, somebody you can identify with, somebody that's genuine and honest, and I truly believe that comes through. That's why I'm imploring you to get an outline together and then get on and record a podcast. It's just not that hard. I put your parents love you in spite of and sometimes because of your flaws, and your audience will too. So get rid of the timidity. If you say I'm an introvert, don't worry about it. And my mom always told me I had a face for radio, but podcasting wasn't around yet. So I do podcasting. I also do radio, but that's another story. So, and there's a picture from the Art of Omnipresence webcast or webinar that we did for Elder Council. How do I tell the world about it? From Buzzsprout, where I publish, my publisher of all my podcasting. And there's several out there. I would implore you to check out Buzzsprout. You can Google a lot of others. I've just had a lot of luck. I think it's the industry standard with Buzzsprout, and it's very easy to use. You can broadcast it on social media. You can get the link right on Buzzsprout and podcast it on your Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Google Plus, LinkedIn if you want to, and it'll do it right from the push of a button right in Buzzsprout, or you can get the link and post directly in there. iTunes and Stitcher we talked about, that people are going to be able to locate you there. I put it in the bottom of my emails to listen to our Elder Law Radio, and it's a link straight to the Buzzsprout page, so where you can listen to our podcast, or you might want to link them back. In fact, I just thought about it, to your website, and position yourself as an expert, just like writing a book. You can email it to clients. You can your podcast. We have an e-newsletter where we'll email out the podcast as well, and they can listen to them on their phone or wherever they are. But it really positions you as the expert and the one in town that's dominating your market and really cares about getting new clients and putting out really, really good information into the community as a public service, as opposed to just another shingle. And that's what you want to prevent. Podcasting allows you to do that very cheaply and easily. Reuse and abuse your content. And I really mean that. I've got recycle on there. So in the spirit of recycling, you can recycle a piece of content. I could take one I did a year ago, as long as it's still good law and good information. I might want to listen to it once, or I might remember it, and I can just repost it and reuse it. I recycle content all the time, although I'm constantly coming up with new content, and I have fun with it. You could do a video recording, I mentioned that earlier, of yourself, just like we're doing the webinar today, and I'm doing it with my laptop and a webcam that's built into my laptop. You can video yourself talking about the subject matter, and then take that video and piece out the audio up to Buzzsprout, or upload it. I think you upload the video right up to Buzzsprout, and it just uses the audio. And then you could use the video on YouTube, on your YouTube channel, or on your website. You could send that video and out to your clients on your e-newsletter. You could text. Imagine this. You could text your clients your video recording or your podcast. And I have texted clients video replies to questions on a regular basis. I will email video replies or audio replies to people all the time. You just want to get real and responsive with your clients, and using technology, not being scared of it, is a great thing to do, in my opinion. You can transcribe your podcasts. You can turn them into, and you don't have to do it. I don't do mine most of the time because of a time factor. I try to delegate a lot of the things I do. In fact, I think that's a secret or a key to success for doing things like this and really getting out there, is having someone else transcribe your audio. There's plenty of contract people you can hire on sites like Upwork or Elance, or perhaps a nice grad student or writer or English major in your community that would like to do it. I have both contract workers and local people, writers, who help me transcribe a lot of my video and audio content, turn them into newspaper articles, books, social media, newspaper, well, I said newspaper articles, and e-newsletters that go out to our clients. And sometimes I'll just tweak it in different ways and do rewrites, but it's a lot quicker for me to do a rewrite, and I'm coming up with the original content. So think of just where all this can lead. This could be the tip of the iceberg and a starting point for you in really becoming the expert in what you do. And I guess I'm trying to adhere to a time limit. I took the 30-minute podcast and turned it into an hour, webinar, and turned it into an hour webinar the last time that I did the Omnipresence Pep Talk. And I don't want to do that this time, Ashley. And I want to talk to some people out there about podcasting. I really want some questions about podcasting, okay? Ashley, is there anything that I need to do on my end to be able to see everyone and see where they are? Do I need to stop sharing my screen, perhaps?
Will you give me just a second, and that is exactly what I'm going to ask you to do.
Okay.
I want to
remember my training.
Give everybody a second. I'm actually going to unmute everyone's lines, and if we can have just a minute to look over our next Pep Talk and our agenda.
Sure.
Tuesday, March 8th is the next Pep Talk at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. 5 simple ways to supercharge your online presence. We also have a member benefits webinar on February the 25th, real application of the ROI calculator. Following that, February 26th is our final Friday update, 30 days and 30 minutes. And then March 3rd and 4th, we have our Veterans Pension Immersion Camp. That will actually take place in Phoenix, Arizona, or you are welcome to join us via a live webcast.
I'm thinking about coming to that one.
What was that, Greg?
I'm thinking about coming to Phoenix. I need to see LE credits. Yeah.
We would love to have you, Lawyer Greg.
As a veteran, I think it's my personal responsibility to take care of other veterans. So I've learned how to do that. I'd love to learn how to do that even better.
Well, if you want to do the stop sharing, like we talked about, that way it'll pull up everyone, and we could be a Brady Bunch family here.
So I'm going to say stop share.
Questions or comments? Yeah, anybody with questions or comments, we encourage you to speak up now. You can also type those into the question section.
Oh, we've got a lot of people on the line. How about Teresa and Carol, Diane Lane, Jen, Jason,
Greg, I've got one.
Sure.
So, and you went through that really fast. So, for people that are on here, what are like the top 3 things they can do right now if they want to start a podcast?
Number 1, get yourself some kind of device to record yourself electronically. That could be a phone where you just sit here and talk and record a podcast. You can even use your earbuds, which have the mic in them, which works great. You can get a little more professional. You can order something called an iRig that plugs into your headphone jack right here on the phone that allows you to it comes with a stand, and you just set it there and talk and do a podcast. You could get a Bluetooth device like I have. I could pay about $100 for this one, and it plugs in wirelessly to your computer and do it, and press record on some type of recording program, either a free or purchased one, or the one that comes with Windows is fine. You save it as perhaps an MP3 or a WAV file. Even if you do video, Andrea, on your iPhone or your computer, you can upload that to a podcast site, and it'll just use the audio. So you want to find a laptop or a phone that will allow you to record, in my opinion, okay? You know, there are other devices that you can get to record into, electronic devices, but why make it hard? Just use your phone or use your laptop, and even a headset with wires to it will work great, and is sometimes better quality even than the Bluetooth. Like I said, you can hire or you can buy mics that have stands that look like old school radio mics even for $20 online on Amazon, and plug it in USB in your computer and use it. They're great quality. So that's number one. Number two, pick a subject matter and do it. Pick a subject. Let's say I want to talk about a will. I talk about all the time why wills are obsolete, okay, and why they're the worst way on planet Earth to pass property. And I can debate that with anyone out there. Would love to do that as an interview, as your first podcast, if you want to do that, okay? And so pick it. Just pick something you're passionate about and do it. I don't know, if you're into bullet points, bullet point it out. If you're into writing everything out, write it out. Do you know why I hate writing everything out? Because it sounds like I'm reading it. Because I'm going through it. The dog jumped over, see Jane run. I hate that. I don't want to be that way. I want to be unscripted to a point. So I like to jump from one bullet point to another. PowerPoints are great for me to do that, even though I jumped around a little bit on that one. But I like to be a little bit unscripted and real about it. And I think that shows through on the other side. Plus, I run my mouth constantly. So, just reading for me would not work. So then the next thing is publish it. Find a venue to publish it, which is I use Buzzsprout. I upload it, and I automatically set Buzzsprout with a click of a button. I set it up one time, and it does it automatically to publish on iTunes, on Stitcher, and any other social media when I record one. So when I do it, it automatically puts stuff up there. From Carol, do you post links for your podcast to Twitter? Absolutely. In fact, I have it set automatically. When I do a video, podcast, anything, I'm automatically blasting out to every form of social media known to man. I do not pick one as my favorite. And I might get crazy and live tweet my podcast. But it's just to get the audience involved. Or I'll get really out there, and maybe I'll like quote maybe at the real Donald Trump or Kanye West or something like that on there, so I'm in their Twitter feed. If you want to, or like Perry Mason, or maybe there's another famous attorney you want to piggyback it back on. You can do some really cool things with Twitter, okay? But that's more advanced techniques to getting your name out there nationally, okay? But yes, I absolutely would advise doing it straight to Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Plus, and any other form of social media. You can certainly do it. It's very easy, and it looks really cool. Like I said, I'm a great fan of videoing it and using it both in the podcast sense so people can listen to it on their phone in the car, or the video sense so they can watch it on their laptop or their phone. So I get double mileage. Actually, I get a lot more than double because I'll transcribe it also. So then that's, publish it somewhere. Then figure out how you want to reuse and abuse your content. Figure out how, oh man, this is a great podcast. I did a great job. Now I'm going to write it out, or I'm going to have somebody transcribe it and edit it out. And then I'm going to, my local paper really needs articles, and I'm going to go over there and I'm going to post some articles. So, or I'm going to publish some articles. I'm trying to get syndicated right now. I can tell you that. I've got enough content right now that I could keep a paper in business publishing my articles for like 3 years. So there's no reason I shouldn't be statewide or nationwide. But
are there suggestions you can provide for where people should get ideas for doing this? I know you have a very creative mind, so it's probably easy for you, but for some people it might not be as easy. Where should they get these ideas from? Like, just setting like Google News, or I
have some great ideas on where to get ideas. Okay, and I've read some articles on that are really good on how to just come up with creative ideas. And if you're not just naturally, just generally creative, if that's not your bag, it's so easy. Many of these things are learned exercises. Okay. Getting out there, doing podcasts, just do it frequently every day. Look at the news. Okay. What's relevant in the news? I don't know what's going on right now. The political race, right? Dude, plan for the storms ahead. I could think of candidates right now that scare me to death. All right. Just for instance, scare me to death, scare my clients to death. And to be honest with you, the best thing for my business might be if they get elected. Okay. Because tax planning is going to come back, and all kind of asset protection. People are going to be running into my office like I'm going to have like a soup line down the street to like plan to protect their assets if somebody I'm thinking of right now is elected. Okay, so I mean that's off the top of my head. Look, read the newspaper, man. Watch the news. Listen to the news on the way in. Look at a magazine. I don't know, celebrities. Man, Kanye West, right? I was talking about Kanye. You think I'm kidding? I did a meme with Kanye the other day and put it up on his Twitter feed that said, and I might get sued. I would love, by the way, anybody who wants to represent Kanye West against me, please have him sue me. I want it all over the place that I'm getting sued by Kanye West. And I hope we'll end up doing a rap song together, okay? The dude is like $56 million in debt, personal debt, right? And he's got a song out right now that says "No More Parties in LA." Okay, so the meme had a picture of him, and he was like, and it was like, "Parties in LA can go on forever if you plan ahead." Okay, McIntyre Elder Law hashtag the Elder Law guy, right? And that's true.
I like that.
So where can you not look and get ideas for content?
Okay.
And there's no such thing as bad press or bad media, all right?
Yeah, I mean, as long I believe that as long as you're coming from a good place, okay? As long as you're coming from a good place, and I'm coming from a good place in that I love my family, supporting the kids, working hard for my business, and really do a lot of research on what we put out there. So I think that's another thing to throw in there as well. Know your content, but don't be so scared of knowing your content that it paralyzes you.
All right. Lawyer Greg, I'm not seeing any other questions. If there are, please feel free to email at education@eldercouncil.com. I want to thank everybody again for their participation today, Greg, especially for yours. The recording of this webinar will be available on the Elder Council knowledge base within 48 hours. So thanks again. Thanks, Greg.
Peace.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
All right.
Okay. Bye.